I think if there's one skill to master in the 21st century, it's our ability to learn faster. Because if you can learn how to learn, the world is yours, especially today, because nobody who's listening and watching gets paid for their brute strength, it's their brain strength. It's not your muscle power, it's completely your mind power. But the Limitless Model is an explanatory schema, a framework for learning anything faster. And not only that, but really for accessing our human potential. Because I think if there's one infinite, limitless resource on planet Earth, it's human capability. There's no limit on our determination. There's no limit to our imagination. There's no limit to our creativity. And yet we're not shown how to be able to access that. The human brain doesn't learn through consumption, it learns through creation and creativity and getting involved in things. And I know a lot of us learn faster when we actually roll up our sleeves and do it. This is the thing, it's not how smart you are, it's not literally not how smart you are, it's how are you smart. You are smart through experiential learning, and it's always context dependent, but really when it comes to accelerated learning, it's not, again, how smart you are, it's how are you smart. And that honors us and it takes the judgment out, because school teaches you what to learn, what to focus on, what to think, what to remember, but not how to learn. Many people refer to me as a brain coach because what I do is I train your brain, because I think we're in the millennium of the mind, and it's really about mental fitness, our ability to adapt, our ability to think, our ability to solve problems, and this really is everything. There's 7 lies that hold you back to learning, and one of them is knowledge is power. We hear that all the time, I've even said it also as well, but when we think about it, is it really true, right? Is knowledge, just knowing something, give you power? No, not unless you act on it, not unless you apply it. So knowledge times action equals power. Meta learning is learning how to learn, and that's a meta skill, and it helps you to learn salsa or Spanish or anything else better. How come you want to learn Spanish or something else and you put it off, or it takes longer than you should? Because method is only one of the 3 parts. It is what you believe you deserve is your part of your mindset, because that's a big thing. That's your thermostat, right? If somebody has a mindset of, like, I could teach someone the method of how to remember names, but their mindset is, I'm stupid.
I don't deserve to remember names, or I'm not capable of it.
Exactly, or I'm too old, or whatever it is, that's their mindset.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Exactly, then the method won't take hold.
It won't matter.
Exactly. Unlimiting. It's a word that I coined years ago. Unlimiting is different than unlimited. Unlimiting is like the process of removing limits.
Limiting beliefs.
Exactly, or behaviors, or habits, right? So unlimiting is an active word where you're redrawing the boundaries and borders of your life. Limitless is not about being perfect. Limitless is about advancing and progressing beyond what you believe is possible. Now I apply that towards accelerated learning, so you can learn your languages and give speeches without notes and all that stuff. But really it's a process of liberating yourself out of that box. So one of the dimensions that keep you in that box is your mindset. Right? And we can go deep into how to change negative beliefs and everything. And I talk about the 7 lies. Lies for me, again, is an acronym. Lie is a limited idea entertained. Because it's not true. It's not true that you don't deserve it. It's not necessarily true that you're stupid, but it's an idea we're giving energy to. We're entertaining that idea in that moment. And I show people how to unravel it in a 3-step process. But that's the mindset. All right. Now the second M, you can have the greatest mindset and believe everything is possible. You're capable. You deserve it. But if you don't have the second M, which is motivation, you're not getting out of that box, right? That in your career.
I believe I can do it, but I'm going to sit here and eat chips on the couch.
Exactly.
Right?
So your motivation for me is your drive, it's your purpose, it's the vitality that you bring to something. Now most people think motivation, they'll say motivation is a lie. And in some respects it is, because the way a lot of people perceive motivation is just rah rah, get excited, get hyped up, and next day, nothing changes. So my evidence, the evidence of motivation is something is happening. There's an action. There's a new action taking place. And if you're not doing that action, you're not motivated. No matter what you say, if you're not doing it, it's better well done than well said. Even like a lot of people on social media, they promise things, but prove it, right? Don't say it, show it, right? You take it to action. Because knowledge is not power, it's potential power. Applying it makes it powerful. So motivation for me is a 3-step formula. The key to sustainable motivation, how to overcome procrastination, if you're putting things off, this is the key. P times E times S3. Now this is a formula for sustainable, not just a surge in motivation, because I've lived on no sleep for over a decade, right? My sleep has gotten much better since, of recent, just some breakthroughs in medicine and everything else like that. But, I had sustainable motivation. I was still doing all the conferences, still doing my podcast every week, still speaking and traveling and doing all this stuff because I had these three things. Number one, P stands for purpose. Now, some people are very motivated to sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix. They're highly motivated to do that, right? But if you're lacking motivation to work out consistently, here's another lie, limited idea entertained, is that you have to enjoy the activity. P in the formula is purpose. Reasons reap results. If I'm not getting my sleep, I have a purpose. I have a reason to help people every single day. I want every single person that comes in contact with me, whether it's on my podcast or a video or a book, their brain is better off because of it. And so that's my reason. So P is purpose, tap into your reasons. And it can't be intellectual, you have to feel it. Of
course.
Right? And you could even feel the pain. Like who's counting on you to do this activity? Who's watching you? Who's role modeling you, right? Who's counting on you to show up today? It could be painful too, but if it gets you to move, that's what's important. Have that reason, the purpose. My mind does this thought experiment, scientific experimentations, right? If somebody just has a reason, are they always motivated? Are there any cases where they're not motivated? And I said, yes, if they're lacking the E, energy. So somebody could have a reason to work out, or they could have a reason to read, or learn Spanish, but if they're trying to do it late at night and they didn't sleep the night before, or they had a big processed meal.
It's hard to have the motivation.
Exactly, and they're a food coma, they can't be motivated because they lack energy. Because how's your thought process if you don't sleep? How's your focus?
Foggy.
How's your memory? How are you making good decisions, right? I heard that was the advice presidents give other presidents is like don't make a big decision if you didn't get a good night's sleep, right? So I talk about sleep. If you're doing this critical thinking, in what case won't you be motivated? Let's say you want to start a business or whatever. You're just procrastinating on starting that business. Number one, you have the motivation, you really need it, and you know why. You have the energy because you're eating the right foods, you're maximizing your sleep, you're with not energy vampires. Yes, there is. S3. The problem is you're making it too big in your mind. That will keep you from being motivated. Starting a business, where do you even start? Or getting that perfect relationship or having perfect health, that's way, way too big. So what do? Small, simple steps. That's what will keep people unmotivated. They could have the reasons and purpose, they could have the energy, unlimited energy, but they don't know where to start. And because they make it too big in their mind. And a confused mind doesn't do anything. Confused mind doesn't do anything. So clarity is power.
I like that.
So small, simple step, all you have to do is ask a magic question. What is the smallest action I could take where I can't fail? It allows me, give me some progress, but I can't fail. What's the smallest step? A small, simple step to get someone reading is read one sentence. That's a small, simple step. Open up the book. That's a small, simple step that you can't fail, right? And nobody's gonna stop at one sentence. The example Dr. BJ Fogg talks about with tiny habits is, hey, we know flossing is good for your longevity.
Just do one tooth.
One tooth. And who's gonna stop at one tooth, right? So how do you break it down? And really motivation is energy management. It's really about energy management, meaning when you have clarity and purpose, it gives you energy, right? When you have energy, like if you eat the right foods and everything else, vitality, you have energy. And small, simple steps requires very little energy, requires very little effort, output. And there's something in memory called the Zeigarnik effect. It's by a psychologist, a woman who in Europe noticed that at the cafe she frequents, that the waitstaff would remember all the orders until they were delivered. And once they were delivered, they would forget it. And the Zeigarnik effect, which is her last name, means that the mind doesn't like open loops. And all of the series that you binge watch knows this, because at the end they open up a loop. And you're like, one more. Who does that? One more. and you end up watching until like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because it doesn't like the open loops. Well, starting something like an order, remembering someone's order, and then it delivered, it closes the loop. Well, when you start something anywhere, your mind still keeps an open loop about it, so it's more likely to finish. And that's another way to overcome procrastination. Break it down into small, simple steps where you can't fail.
Yeah.
That's the 3-step formula. Try things 3 times. Number 1, to get over the fear of it.
Yes.
Right? Number 2, like, karaoke or, be doing stand-up or something that just to get over the fear of it. Number 2, just to get a little confident at it, get good at it. And then try it a 3rd time to see if you like it or not. Yeah. Because we don't really find our passions. Like, we have to put ourselves out there.